Okay, recently I bought the official 7-inch screen that Raspberry Pi Foundation makes for the Raspberry Pi. And I recently put it together, and I actually ordered a Raspberry Pi 2 because the form factor fits the Raspberry Pi 2. And I guess the Raspberry Pi B Plus and the Raspberry Pi A, the original Raspberry, I had the second generation Raspberry Pi, and the form factor, you couldn't screw it in. And if you look at it, I connected it up, and the tricky part was these sort of ribbons here are kind of hard to connect. That took a little time. So you have this is the Raspberry Pi, this is the video card board, and then I have these jumper cables that power it. So there's three different ways to power it. You can connect a USB from the card, the power board that comes with the display, and then connect that to the input for the power for the Raspberry Pi, which is here. And then what you do is you just power the Raspberry Pi screen controller board here, and then if you have that USB cable hooked up here to the Raspberry Pi, it powers the Raspberry Pi. But another way to do it is to just use this jumper cable here. So you basically connect these jumper cables to here, and that powers the Raspberry Pi from that. Now the third way would be to just have two separate USB cables connect to both boards, but then you have two power sources. So I hooked it up. I also put a little Wi-Fi little USB connector there. So let's power it up. It took me a while to get powered up. I didn't have the correct distribution of Debian, but let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna plug in the power here, and there you go. The lights go on. Now watch this. Okay, so I'm gonna launch it again because I had glare in the shot, and I shut the window. So I'm plugging it in here. There we go. It starts to boot up. And there it is. And here it launches. And this version of Debian, the latest one, goes straight into the GUI, the sort of desktop GUI for Debian. So look, it works. It's a nice screen. This version of the Raspberry Pi 2 is fast, so it's booting pretty quickly. So it's kind of cool. So the touch screen works. It's just that a lot of applications aren't yet designed on the Raspberry Pi to work with the touch screen. So basic sort of mouse control and navigation works. Let's see if I can. Well, I'm touching it. So if I press my thumb there and press Internet web browser, it should launch the web browser. There we go. So you see the little circle, it's booting. I'm connected to Wi-Fi, so I have, I can use my fingers to touch things on the website, and it should launch. This is, it's not as fast as like say a MacBook Air, but it is loading. So there you go. You have, I can scroll using my fingers. This is the website for CNN. Shows you how much is on this website. It's taken a while to load. But look, you can launch games from it. Like, let's say I'm going to launch Minecraft. Minecraft starts pretty quickly. But here's the thing. I mean, Minecraft's controls aren't yet configured for this touchscreen display. I'm going to try to figure out, maybe there are some drivers on the like various forms for Raspberry Pi that I can use. All right, let's go. Let's respawn. So, I have some controls, but I don't think you have all the controls that you need with Minecraft. I think this version still needs a mouse and keyboard. So, look, I'm excited that I was able to get it configured. The screen is about $60 and the Raspberry Pi is about $35. So if you're looking for a cheap tablet, it might be better to just get like an Amazon Fire. Amazon recently announced they're selling them for $50. I'll have a link in the YouTube page for them. But look, if you want to like experiment and create your own things, I think the Raspberry Pi Foundation people built this so that you could create an interface for various devices that you create using the Raspberry Pi. So for example, I don't know, you could create some sort of device, and this could be the interface. So one frustration I have now is I've been looking on the internet, I'm looking for a case to put this in, and I'd also like to get a battery and make it portable. As you can see, I mean, any case you get is not going to make this as thin as an iPad or a Kindle Fire, but the point is you're building your own tablet device or touch interface device. So look, I'm going to have more videos regarding my experiments with the Raspberry Pi official 7-inch touchscreen, and as I make progress, I'll show you what I can do. My previous video was just getting it, and seeing the different parts, and I finally was able to hook it up. So I'm kind of excited by that accomplishment. So stay tuned for more videos and subscribe if you want to see more.